Thank you for joining us for another power-packed message provided by Monroe Global Incorporated and MonroeGlobal.com. We transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. We hope that this message is a blessing to you as you advance your life and discover your purpose. Now, let's go into the message.
My brother and I, this entire year, have had a lot to deal with. We have had a lot to have to overcome with grieving, and then also I don't call it pressures, but the responsibility of accepting the baton and moving forward. And so in that, we have recently launched the Miles and Ruth Monroe Foundation. And that is our baby. And that's what God has given he and I to do, to continue what my parents have started, but also to start and establish what they haven't done yet. Because it doesn't end with them. What they were supposed to do was ended, and now it begins with us. So with the foundation, we want to continue a lot of what my dad has started, using his intellectual knowledge, a lot of his teachings and on leadership and kingdom and purpose. But we really want to take it to the community. We want to take it to the world, globally, locally, and we want to touch the lives of persons that my dad haven't even touched yet. You'll be surprised. Yes, there is the world. It looks like the world knows him, but there's still someone out there that has no clue. And so my brother want to reach those that have no clue. And so the foundation is supposed to also support the Monroe Institute. And we're looking at partnering with universities to have a Monroe Institute that for the first time is going to speak on the kingdom of God. And so we are always going to be looking for supporters, for legacy supporters who are going to help us carry this vision forward. And I'm going to be talking a lot. I'm going to talk from my heart today. I don't want to preach to you. I don't even want to teach. I want to just have a straight talk from woman to woman. And I want you to be able to stop me in the middle of what I'm saying and ask me a question. Let's have a conversation. Because where you sit, I've sat there as well, listening. I'm no better, I'm no bigger than anyone. I understand in this room, we pretty much have a soup. We are all from different walks of life. We have all been through stuff. So just like how you can learn from me, I can learn from you. And so this is going to be the book that I'm focusing on. This is a book written by my dad, Understanding the Power and Purpose of a Woman. And he just basically broke us down to what we are, but yet making us so great and allowing us to understand the purpose and power that we have. And so this book has touched and changed my life. And so I'm going to be talking from it a lot, but a lot of what I'm going to talk to you today is just what I've learned over the years as a woman and being under a dad, being under God who allowed me to be that woman. Allowed me to be as strong as I am, as powerful as I am, did not degrade, did not put down, because they understood that even though we are different, me, woman, you, man, we're equal. So like I said, we're going to have a straight talk. I don't know if you can see that picture very clearly, but that is my mom. So she's going to be on the back end of all of my slides, because that woman that my dad talks about is her. Everything I know as a woman, I learned from my mom, and some. And so I want to just teach you what I've learned from both of my parents together. So the topic tonight, we're going to talk about the purpose and power of a kingdom woman. So, you hear everyone say they want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And we all know what that looks like. And we know that just by reading. It's in the Word, it's in the Bible. Proverbs 31, verse 10 to 31 is a long verse, but I wanted to focus on just a few key points, and they're in yellow. So a Proverbs 31 woman is a wife of noble character. Who can find? She's worth more than rubies. She is all about bringing good and not harm. She stays up all night while others are sleeping. She provides food for her family. She plants a vineyard. She works vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. Her lamp does not go out at night. Her arms She gives to the poor. She opens to the poor. She extends her hands to the needy. She has no fear. Women, she has no fear. And let me interject right here. The only person that she fears is who? She's clothed in fine linen and purple, clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh. She speaks with wisdom and gives faithful instruction. She watches over the affairs of her household. She watches over the affairs of her household. As soon as I read this, I was reading this again today. And when I read that, we have so many women that are watching over the affairs of other people's homes. They're so nosy, want to know what's going on in this home and that home. And then they wonder why 5 years later, their home fall apart. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband praises her. She fears the Lord and deserves honor. Her works bring her praise. So all of this is what a Proverbs 31 woman looks like. But like any diamond, every crown has diamonds, has rubies, has precious jewels. But like any diamond, it takes a process, it takes pruning, and it takes persistence. So it's not easy. It's easy to look at that and say, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. But how many of us are willing to work? How many of us are willing to go through the fire? How many of us are willing to go through the challenges and stick with it no matter what? So how many of you in here consider yourself beautiful? You're beautiful, but you're dead. You're beautiful, but you're empty. How many of you are beautiful and have no clue? You're even ignorant to your beauty. And I'm not talking about what you see in the mirror. You know, in the Bahamas, in Nassau, they recently built a massive hotel, a conglomerate of hotels. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm talking from one end of the street to the next. They built hotels, water park in this area. It was supposed to open December 2014, never opened. It's supposed to open March 2015, never opened. June 2015 still hasn't opened. The fight between the government and the person that resold it. So now it's not going to open. I mean, if you see the buildings, if you see what was built, it's beautiful, but it is empty. Electricity still runs through it. Water still runs through it, but it's empty. Every time I pass, I say, man, this thing is beautiful and not being put to use. No one can live in it. No amount of money can bring it to life. Mind you, it's beautiful. Beautiful on the outside, but completely dead. And its beauty, because it's just a building, it doesn't even know how beautiful it is. Because it takes the person living in it to tell it, you're beautiful, but doesn't even have that. So I want to crush this ignorance right here tonight. Because a lot of you are beautiful. All of you are beautiful. But I want you to be alive with your beauty. Beauty should not be dead. Your inner man should not be empty. And you should just know that you're beautiful. No one should have to tell you that. That's right. We were made beautifully and wonderfully. That's what we were told. Just believe it. So before anything, and we talk about queens, but before you are a queen, you are female. That's just God made male and female. That's the basic that we are. Before you are female, you are a man. And not only are you a man, but you are a woman. The only thing that separates me and you, from these two men sitting here, is the fact that we have a womb, which means that we can bear children. That's the only difference. But when God spoke to them and when God spoke to us, he said the same thing. He wasn't standing in one corner with me as a female telling me this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're to do. And then in a different corner, he said something to a man. He said the same thing to female that he said to male. He said the same thing to man that he said to women. Before you are a woman, you were God's idea. So he knew exactly what he wanted when he formed a woman. He knew exactly what he wanted when he created man. Which means you are special. Each and every one of you are special, individually. Plain and simple. The difference, however, between man and woman is the woman's place, her positioning. Not only her positioning, but her function. So once you understand that your position once you understand your position, understand your function, no one can tell you differently. And your position is based on your purpose and your design. That's why when my dad kept saying years ago, discover your purpose, live your purpose. Find out, fulfill your purpose. That's because once you discover that, your position becomes obvious. Your position becomes evident. Your position becomes concrete, and no one can shake you. The problem is some of us do not know our purpose. We do not know why we are here. Why was I born? What am I supposed to do? So what's happening is anyone can tell you anything. Someone tell you one day you're supposed to do this, so you're over here. The very next day someone tells you something else and you're over here. So you're doing this wavering. But he wants you to be standing firm right here because you only take one instruction from one person. And he's telling you, this is your purpose. This is what I want you to do. And you stay on that course. Women, do not let anyone tell you. Don't let a man tell you. Don't let another woman tell you that your position is in the home.
Come on, Charisa.
Your position is in the home if that's how what you choose.
Yes.
I wish somebody would tell me my position is in the home. I love to be in the community. I love to be to work. Yeah, I make sure I take care of my husband. I will make sure I take care of the affairs of my household. But no one is going to tell me that you're supposed to be in the home. You're supposed to be domesticated. Mm-mm. Your first position, first of all, is in God.
Yes.
And then if you choose to be a homemaker, and you choose to give 100% or 85% of yourself to the home, then that's up to you.
Yes.
But don't make that mine. And don't let no one tell you that's where your position is supposed to be. And then your position is not in the world. The Bible says clearly we are in the world, but we are not of this world. Your first position and your only primary concern of your position should be in God. Should be tied to your Creator. If He wasn't your Creator, if He wasn't the person that made you, I would be telling you differently. But if you want to know why you were born, why you were created, why are you here, then the best person to ask is the person that made you, the person that created you. You want to know how this TV works, this monitor works. I mean, don't even ask God, because He didn't necessarily create that. He provided the means, yes, but He didn't make that. So you want to add LG, Life is Good, the company. It came with a manual. It'll tell you exactly what it was made for, how it was functioned. So if you believe that about this LG monitor, then why for us do we go everywhere else to find out why was I created? What am I supposed to do? How do I get power? Why? And then how many of us just don't know that, man, my creator was Jesus Christ. My creator was God who saved me. Genesis 1 verse 28 gives a clear instruction of the purpose of women. To be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and have dominion over the earth. Period. To be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and have dominion over the earth. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds of the sky, and every living creature that moves. That is the instruction that God gave. That is the purpose that God gave to both man and woman. Now, that is a very loaded statement. That has purpose in it. That has power in it. That has leadership in it. That has potential in it. But we looking everywhere else. What am I supposed to do? The charge that God gave to everyone is Genesis 1, verse 28, which means even though we as female look different from male, even though we have a different function, even though we are different, we are equal in what we are supposed to do on this earth. That's why I don't understand why man on man crime. You and I are supposed to be working together with your vision and my vision, your purpose, my purpose, together to make this world a better place, dominating the earth. The problem is we don't understand. There's nowhere in there that says, rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every living creature that moves on the ground, and my neighbor, and my wife, and my children. There's nothing in there that talks about ruling over another human being. But we do it every day. We want power and control over the next man. Husbands do it to wives every day. Wives do it to husbands every day. Parents do it to children every day. You cannot control, and that's where we get wars, that's where we get crime. That's why the world is getting to be not a better place, because of lack of understanding of this verse right here. So let's talk about some facts, women. And I'm just going to tell you the facts. I'm going to tell you what I believe, and they're factual. They may be against what you understand, but before you leave here today, you and I are going to share the same facts about you. Because I don't want anyone to tell you differently. And if you have been being told differently over the last years of your life, let me visit Houston today from the Bahamas by way of Florida to tell you you've been lied to. Women, you have purpose. We just saw that in Genesis 1:28. Woman, you have potential. For every purpose, there's a way and there's a means to fulfill that purpose. You've been given talents, you've been given passions, you've been given abilities to fulfill that purpose. Untapped strength. Not because you haven't used it doesn't mean it's not there. It just needs to be discovered. Women have talents and abilities. You have authority to dominate. Genesis 1:28, the authority was given to you. But you just have to understand it. And then understand where you are to gauge your authority. Not all authority is permissible, but we all have it. Let me give you a prime example. My brother and I decided to work with my dad about 4, 5, 6 years ago. Once we decided that we had much authority as my dad's children, pretty much to do anything that we wanted to, if we wanted to. We had the authority as his kids. But because he did not give power to that authority, we had no power to perform in our area of authority. So we could not just function under Miles Monroe International just because we were his children. However, when he moved us into a position of leadership and said, this is what you ought to do, and then he made it clear to everyone like you, these are my kids, this is their position, this is what he do. Not only did we have that authority, now we had the power to execute. Yes. Big difference. Yes. Some of us, however, have authority, and we are executing that before time. Or we're executing that wrongly. Let me say that again. We all have authority, But authority needs to be managed. Authority needs to be instructed. It needs to be released in order for you to use it. And once you can use and execute your authority, that is power. But God gave us the authority, and he told us exactly how to use it in Genesis 1:28. When we start using it differently, we are misusing our authority. Therefore, we're misusing our power. And each of us have the power to use our authority the minute that Jesus Christ died and the minute that he left us with someone. Who did he leave us with? He has given us the power to do everything that we are supposed to do. We must know this. We must understand this. You and I have the authority and we have the power to be so great. We cannot do it on our own, because it's going to be a misuse and abuse of the authority that we have as women. Women, you have the power to rule. These are facts. Women, you have vision. Now let me stop right here for a second. Look at my parents. I love to use my parents as example, because my dad was a visionary. It didn't mean that my mom didn't have a vision. Didn't mean that my brother and I didn't have a vision. But he had a vision, and so did we. However, when you look at unity, that's why I say, why can't your vision and my vision come together for a greater cause? That's why the two of them were like white on rice. They were like glue. Because they complemented each other. They were compatible for each other. She knew who she was as a woman. He knew who he was as a man. And there was no confusing the two. There was no confusing the two. So when my brother and I watched that, and now here we are, having to share the same baton, I know who I am as a woman. He knows who he is as a man. And he and I are not competing with each other. He has a vision. I have a vision of how we would like to see things done and carried on from this point forward. But we collaborate. It doesn't make him any more or any better than me. And it doesn't make me any better than him. But know that you were given a vision. You were given a purpose. You have a passion that you would like to see come forth. Bring that passion out and then find other people who have similar passions who can help you. Stop competing with other females. Stop competing with your husband. Stop competing with your man. Stop competing with siblings. Competition is the worst thing in the kingdom, and it just should not be there. Every visionary is a leader. So these two go hand in hand. Because if leaders have no vision, my goodness, you should not be a leader. But every leader should have a vision, and every visionary is a leader. So if I tell you that you're a leader, if I tell you that you have vision, then you're a leader in your own right. We were all born to lead. The problem is, again, ignorance. We have no clue. We just don't know. Who can lead in the area of gifting? So we are leaders who are leading and the best way to lead is in your area of gifting. And I say this because we're all different. I have something that I do better than someone. You have something that you do that I can't do. That's why we need each other. I'm not good at accounting. I'm not good at technology. But I'm sure there's other women in here that are. So you need me, and I need you. It's that area of gifting that you are supposed to serve to the world. Is that area of gifting that separates you as a leader from someone else as a leader. But you're both leaders. You're both beautiful. You both have an area of gifting that you need to serve. The problem is we're sitting on our hands. And we so want to, I have an area of gifting, but we're looking at our fellow woman who in her area of gifting, she's rising to the top. And we want to figure out how do we get there. So let me do the same thing she's doing. and know you can't do it better than her. So yet you're trying to do what she's doing, which is not your area of gifting. So you're falling short anyway. Not knowing that if you were to put your own area of gifting to the test, you could very well surpass her. But you would never know. So find out what your passion is. Find out what your area of gifting is. What it is that you wake up every morning thinking about. And then what makes you angry. My dad always says your purpose is tied to whatever it is that makes you angry. No, seriously. I hate seeing sick people. I do not like seeing oppressed people because of their health. I have been in health for the last 16 years. Because I do not like. I am angry when I see someone who is sick and as far as they're concerned, I have nothing else to live for. So I want to focus on, yeah, you're sick, but you can still do this. Yes, you're sick, but you still have life. Yes, you're sick, but you're still, and figure out, okay, so how can we, yes, you have a fall in this way, but you can be better in this. So what is it that makes you angry? You may just hate seeing people with bad hair. So you figure out, okay, so how can I change that? How can I fix this? Hence, you're a cosmetologist. You hate seeing bad nails. Then do something about it. You hate seeing ugly feet. So you go into foot care. What is it that makes you angry? And I'm talking that makes you angry over and over and over again. That's your purpose. That's your passion. Focus on it. And sometimes that only means that you have to look into yourself. Take time out in a day. Sit down by you and yourself and God and say, okay, what is it? The problem is we want to be with people all the time. Why? Because people tell us exactly how we look, what they think about us, and we love hearing that. But sometimes sit in a corner and let God tell you. Or let you tell yourself. I tell myself. I don't need no one to tell me anything. And then I let God tell me. So before anything, we talk God first. For you religious people in here. Oh, God this, God that. I'm sorry. I know who made me, just like how this monitor knows who made it. So as far as I'm concerned, he is first. So before anything, let God be first in your life. Because in God, man was created equal. We were made in his image and likeness. In God, purpose is discovered. In LG's manual, this monitor knows how it's supposed to run and why it was created. In God, we know why we were created, what our purpose is, what our potential is. In God, destiny is established. So in God, we can find out where we are going. And then we can also find out how we're going to get there. And sometimes how you're going to get there isn't going to be plain. He isn't going to just tell you. Because he wants you to grow along the way. So yeah, you may have to take a left. Because as humans, you're going to want to take a right and a left anyway. But if you stick with him, he's going to bring you back on course. But by the time you went around the way, you would have grown. You would have overcome. You would have built character. In God, potential is revealed. In God, identity is created and executed. Who are you? Women and men were created equal, but they function differently. We are equal, but we function differently. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 12 says, "For as woman came from man, so also was man born of woman." So you see that figure 8 already? So don't let no man tell you differently. Without you, there will not be them. Without us, let's look at these two men here and say, 1, 2, 3, without us, there will not be you. So we already know what our number one purpose is. To fill the earth as women. Only women can do it. That's why I don't understand how man and man is function together. Anyway. That's a whole different teaching for a different day. So for as woman came from man, also man is born of woman. But everything comes from God. Everything starts with you having a relationship with God. When you open this LG box, whether it's on the top or on the side, there's a manual. There's a close relationship between that manual and this monitor. That's how close that manual and you need to be. The problem is, how many of you, I do it all the time. You open a box, take the manual, and you throw it in. Better yet, you never take the manual out. You take this thing out, you put it down, and you just start pressing buttons and plugging it in, and forget the manual. As far as you're concerned, you know what to do. Or we use the worst thing. I have experience, so I'm sure I know how this works. They say experience could be the best teacher, but it can also kill you. So always revert to the manual. My dad used to say it all the time. Revert to the manual. The manufacturer's manual. Have that relationship with the Word of God. That's why reading your Bible and praying every day. From when I was a kid, they said it in Sunday school. There's a reason for that. Because that manual, that Bible, has so much instructions. Everything we need as women is there. There should be no one that should be able to tell us anything different, and we say, okay, I believe you, or I agree, or I accept. Know the word, know who you are for yourself. So when someone comes and tells you, you say, no, I don't believe you, or I don't believe that. Obedience. And then when you read, because I do it all the time, you get a manual, you open it and you read it. Okay, fine. So you said, okay, I'm going to read the manual. The first thing it says is, plug me in first. Now, how many of you say, I need to plug it in. It's already charged. So you don't do that. And then you continue pressing buttons and so forth and so on. When you're going to read, if you're going to read the manual, okay, at least show it some respect and obey what it says. You know, my mom always said, obey first. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Obey first. And then you wouldn't have to worry about consequences. You won't have to worry about repercussions, punishment. So you're going to have that relationship with your maker, and then you are going to read, and then you're going to abide, and you're going to abide first. Because whether you like it or not, whether you plug this thing in right away, or you plug it in 5 days later, you got to plug it in. 5 days you wasted of what this monitor could have actually provided for you. You are 5 days behind, and will forever be 5 days behind. God's word is the manual for your life. You can try life for yourself, and you may succeed for a time, but it will not last. Because true eternity is in God only. After God is first, make you second. You must love yourself first. And there's a chronological order to this because God is love. Yes? We agree. If you don't put God first, you don't really know what true love is. Which means you cannot love yourself truly. And if you cannot love yourself truly, I don't want you loving me. The problem we have as women is we don't love ourselves, but we're trying to show love to everybody else. We're trying to show it to our husbands. We're trying to show it to our children. And we're wondering, why can't I do this properly? Once you love God, loving yourself is going to be so easy. And you're going to know what that feels like. You're going to know what that looks like. I love me. You don't have to tell me I look good tonight. Trust you me. When I looked in that mirror for the last time, I said, go on then. Okay. You look good. Love yourself. Love yourself. Let me tell you, when you love yourself, it's so easy to love other people. Better yet, forget that. It's so easy for people to love you. Because then they say, man, she just, people always ask me, well, how you get so confident? I love God. So loving me is easy. And if I love me, then I have so much love to give to you. And then I just automatically become a lovable person. My dad was such a selfless person. He gave his life in pieces to the world, and everyone loved him. A lot of preachers, a lot of pastors are not like that. Why? You can't even get to them to touch the hem of their garment. Because they believe, am I on TV? Am I live? Okay. Because they believe they're better than you and me. Next to God, self-love is the foundation of all relationships. I've been saying that all night. So then you're wondering why your marriage isn't working. You're wondering why you and your mother don't get along. You wonder why you and your mother-in-law don't get along. Self-reflect on how much you love yourself. Self-reflect on now where your love is coming from, where you're pulling that love from. Women, you are not ready to date. And how many single women I have? Single, unmarried, or divorced. You're just single, unattached. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you. This statement is for you. You are not ready to date or get married until you have first learned how to be alone. And I learned this, I heard it from my dad, I learned it, and then I put it to work in my own life, because I'm still single, unmarried, unattached, and happy. Love being by myself, have no problem being alone. It doesn't make me lonely, because there's a difference. But when you have no problem being by yourself, then you could consider being ready. We have so many women who must be with a BFF. They must be with their twin sister. They must be with their mom. They must be with people because they don't want to hear their own thoughts. They don't think they're beautiful, so the people that they're with are lying to them and saying, girl, you look good. Let's go this place. Oh, I love your dress. This time, someone like me, sensible, or someone else comes along and says, what in the world is she wearing? But you gotta blame her friends. But when you could look in a mirror and look good, and look sensibly good, because there's a difference. When you are ready, when you can go to it, I used to do it all the time. Go to the movies by myself, go out to dinner by myself, and you always get them eyes. How many? One? I'm sorry? Yes, one. And I go and I order what I want, pay for my own meal, sit down there, didn't care what anyone said, didn't care how they looked. Didn't have to have someone there to talk to. May have taken my iPad, got some work done. Didn't have that distraction. When you can be just you and God by yourself, reading the word, praying. You don't need someone to say, come, let's go pray. Come, let's go to church. Let's is like experience. Okay. Be careful with let's. Let's always like company. You must be a whole person, not a half person. My dad, back in the day, he used to say, oh, I want to have my better half. And then my mom put him in his place. And she said, she's not his better half. She is his better whole. You are not half a person. You are not half a being. So you don't need a better half to make you whole. So until you can be alone, you ain't ready to attach to someone else. Until you understand and believe and you're okay with being whole by yourself, and you're not ready to attach to someone else. Because then you only come and be a problem to me. And I wish there were men in here, because I would say the same thing to them. Men are always looking for someone to complete them. I ain't got time to complete you. I ain't got time to teach you and try to make you a better person. I need you to come already completed. Because I complete. Women, know that you are a whole person with your self-concept and self-perception. What you perceive about yourself is most important. I'm not saying, however, don't hear what others are saying around you. Because sometimes others may see a part of us that we don't see. Okay, fine. And then, take it with a grain of salt. Especially if that person that's telling you is someone that loves you, has your best interest at heart. Then you take into consideration, okay, so if that's how I am, then maybe I need to work on that or whatever have you. But if it's someone that just hating on you, yeah, you know the difference. So once you have put God first, and then you have put yourself first, your identity should automatically start to come into play. You should automatically know now what that looks like and who am I? Why are you here? Where are you going? What can you do? These are questions of the heart. We ask them to ourselves every day and we don't know it. What am I doing? Why am I here? How am I going to get where I'm going? These questions can only be answered by your Creator. Why was this monitor created? Why did it get here? How is it supposed to operate? How is it supposed to press play? That's all in the manual. Your manufacturer left you with a manual of why you are here, of who you are, and where you're going. Women, when you settle into your identity, into your purpose, all of your insecurities are going to go away. We all have them. We are all insecure about something. The first step, let me say this again. We are all insecure about something. I am honest enough to make that statement because as long as I say we, I've included myself. The first step to working on those insecurities is admitting it to yourself. And then figure out where that root cause of that insecurity is and why. And for the most part, it's going to be because you do not understand who you are and what you are supposed to be doing. Because as soon as you do, then you're going to start working on it. I am insecure about my weight. Insecure about my weight. So I know what I have to do, and I work on it. Period. You ain't got to tell me. I know exactly what I have to do. I don't like my arms. I think they're big. I know what I have to do. And I deal with that. How many of us don't like our arms? Well, look at that. Look at that. Welcome to the Arm Club. It's good to know that I'm not alone. And that is a very good example. Women, you would be surprised. The insecurity you have It's the same insecurity your neighbor have. Yet that is the same person you run in competition with. Both of you all have the same insecurity, but yet you run in competition. What I want to do is find somebody whose insecurity is not their arms, and then I want to be able to say, okay, so how you get those arms? And then learn from them. Don't wear yourself out trying to please people. Because that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to wear yourself out. Have an identity for yourself that no one can shake, make, or break. Remember earlier I talked about that weighing and swaying? Have an identity that's so strong in your purpose that there is nothing that anyone can say to move you. They can't make up an identity for you because people are going to do it every day. They can't shake you and they sure can't break you. So I want to talk to single women, and no, I don't want to talk to single women. I want to talk to every woman in here. Because every woman in here, whether you are married or unmarried, you are single. Okay, so this table got it. Let me say it again for everybody else. Whether you are married or unmarried, you retain your singleness. Because it's as a single person that you are whole and unique. That should never go away. That's why I can't have someone come who want me to complete them. And I don't need anyone to complete me. Because whether you are here or not, I'm going to be that complete and whole person and unique person. Which means I am going to be forever single. So you don't tap with my singleness. That's why I can give myself to you and share myself with someone. As a single person, you're so free, and not free to mingle, but you're just free to seek first the kingdom of God. Especially those that are unmarried. If you're unmarried and you're not dating, but you're not attached, now is the time to do exactly that. Seek first his kingdom, because everything you want, that man you're looking for, that job you want, the money you want to make, it's going to come. Everything you want is going to be added. Do not be anxious. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious about anything. I'm talking about the unmarried. But in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Show me my single people again. Anything you want. If it's a man, you want a better body, you want a better job, you want different friends, you want to notice what your purpose is. Plain and simple request of God. Exactly what you want to know or exactly what you want. Keep praying. Never stop. Use this time in your unmarriedness. Even if you've been divorced, use this time to elevate yourself and elevate your relationship in him so he can fill you. Because to be very honest, we are alone, but sometimes it gets lonely. But you want him to fill that. Because you don't want that loneliness to now turn into depression. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. So use this time as you're single, even the ones that are married. Know when to pull away from your husband. Go into your closet and pray. Know when to go and be by yourself. That's why I can't have no one who need me to complete them. You could imagine having someone on your tail all the time. Women, how many of you believe? I want to excuse all the men. You are here at your own risk. But how many of you believe that men are big babies? I love my table over here. So they already big babies, and then they want to come half-stepping. Women, you must be strong within yourself. And you must retain your singleness. Because men are already going to come, unfortunately, with the notion that they're stronger than us. Not so much physically, but just in power and in function. And God created men first, and he has put them as the head of the home. So women, just know it as a fact. And that's what it is. Men are the head of the home. They are supposed to provide. Where the head goes, the body goes. That's why you want to be careful, the man that you choose to be your head. That's why your head, first of all, needs to be so strong and so steadfast. So the hair that you choose to put on top of that doesn't sway you, doesn't break you, doesn't make you. You know, I love to talk about Queen Esther. Man, Esther was my mom's favorite book. And she talked about this woman all the time. My mom resembled her so much. You know, Queen Esther, she was lovely. She had a lovely figure, and she was beautiful, like a whole lot of us in here. She was presented to the king, but she was not presented to him until she went through 12 months of beauty treatments. Remember earlier I said, anyone can desire to be a Proverbs 31 woman. But you have to go through. You have to be willing as a woman to go through the training, to go through whatever it's going to take to get you there and to be the perfect woman and the perfect queen that you're supposed to be. The problem is, you know, my dad was a purpose guy. But my uncle, Dr. Richard Pinder, who also died in a plane crash, his main focus of teaching was on process. And so when you combine the two of them, you can't have purpose without a process. And then you can't be going through a process without a purpose. The problem is, a lot of us, we want to get from one end, from A to B. Forget Z. We want to get from A to B without this middle piece. So we gonna jump, we gonna fly, we gonna hope a miracle happens and we just appear from one to the next. But we don't want to go through this piece right here. However, it is this process that's going to make us strong enough. It's going to make us wise enough. It's going to give us the power that we need to even withstand what B is going to bring. Because B is going to come with its own challenges. Hair is going to come with its own. If you have bypassed the process of getting here, you're not going to withstand here. If Esther did not go through those 12 months of beauty treatments with oils and perfumes, I can assure you the king would not have looked at her, would not have chosen her. You know how much times as women we disappoint God? Because we don't want to go through the process. We want everything he has for us now. We want everything we want now. And sometimes because He's the God that he is. He gives it to us when we want it. And say, okay, here you go. And then we fall or we fail. And then we wonder why. Because of going through the process, King Esther won the king's favor and approval. God wants to give us his favor. We deserve his favor as women. And not only the favor of God, but we deserve the favor of man. And I'm talking both male and female. And we deserve their approval after we have been prepared and gone through. Beauty, Esther, she had a beauty of character that kept her on the throne. Now, character is so important because, again, she was beautiful. She went through these treatments. She got chosen. Now she's there. She's able to wear this crown. Now, how many of us know what is needed to stay there? Because now that you're here at B, it's going to take work to stay there and then also to keep going from B to C all the way to Z. You have to know now how to stay there. Your character needs to be intact so that you can stay there. My dad always compared character to statue. Statues, doesn't matter what you do to it. It stays there looking the same, doing the same thing. You can paint it, you can put graffiti, rain come, hurricane, tornado, snow, sleet, it does not move. That's what your character as a queen should look like. That's what your character as a woman should look like. Which means you're living according to your manual. She obeyed all of the principles of Mordecai. She was loyal to her faith. She was self-confident. She was courageous. She fasted and prayed. Prayer and fasting is important for every kingdom citizen. She pleased the king. She did everything to please the king in order for her petition to be fulfilled. And petition here, we're talking about prayer. So her prayer request. And as a result of that, not only did she save her life, but she saved her people. But look at what she had to do before she can do that. We are beautifully made. You know, I saw this somewhere. I was reading, and they said in beautiful, you know, when you look at the word beautiful, it means be you fully. Be who you are, all by yourself, fully. Be the best that you can be fully. And that is so much. That means you should be learning about yourself every day. You should be asking God, okay, so what else am I? Because I know this ain't all there is about me. So that he can tell you what you are fully. And from the inside out, be beautiful, not from the outside in. Beauty is so much deeper than the skin. That's part of the reason why, as much as I don't like my arms, I'm okay with them. Because I know that, yeah, my arms may not be as small and as firm as I would like them to be, but it doesn't make me beautiful. Who I am on the inside makes me beautiful. Your inner beauty or your stench will always come to light. So you can put on all the makeup you want. You can put on all the fine linen and clothing you want. And you can wear that mask for some time. But eventually we are going to know who you are on the inside. And either that's going to look really beautiful or it's going to have a stench. Challenges should come to define you. Challenges should not define you. They should refine you. We all hate them. For the last 365 days plus, I have had to go through the challenge of losing 2 parents, not being able to grieve properly because now I have a weight of responsibility. But it has not crushed me. It has not oppressed me. It does not make me saddened to the point where I cannot and do not want to live. But it continues to refine me. I thought I was a strong woman before November 9th last year. You guys have no idea. I thought I was strong then. But I know that I am now. It's the only way that I could have endured and continue to endure what I go through. And I have to believe that there is something far better in it for me. Women, we function by way of influence. That's the difference between us as women and men. They function by way of power. We are so influential. We lead by influence power. So when you look at anything that influences something, there's always going to be some kind of change. So women, we are receivers. We always receive. We love to get gifts. You know, anything a man has to give, we receive. Physically, mentally, emotionally. But everything that anyone gives us, if we have to ever give it back, the way that we got that thing is not going to be how we give it back. If a man gives us a seed, we are going to, 9 months later, he's going to have a full-blown son or daughter. Anything anyone gives us as women, we are going to incubate it, it's going to grow, and it's going to develop. It's going to transform. Women, this is what you do. This is your power. Men don't have that power. So I don't care how much seed a man give another man, it ain't going nowhere. Which is a waste of seed. But if a man give a woman seed, he is going to get a nation. Women, that is the power that we have. When you look at Adam and Eve and the story of how sin happened, God gave Adam the instruction, do not touch that tree. Do not eat of that tree. God never told you and me not to touch that tree, not to eat of that fruit. He told that to the man. However, notice when Eve picked the tree, nothing happened. She picked the fruit, nothing happened. Nothing happened when she picked it. She came to Adam, blinked her eye, batted her eyes, looking all naked, beautiful form. Said, honey, please, you must try this. Adam forgot everything that God told him. Beauty, boldness, courageous of standing before him. Yes, dear, please, come here. And he bites. And the world stopped. And then they blame it on me and you. That's why your head, women, the head that you choose to be the head of your home is so important, because God has given man so much instruction, the male man. But that means we must also know the power that we have. Because really and truly, Eve influenced him. She didn't even know she was doing it, but she did. Now, he should have known better, but she influenced him and she did not know it. That's why when God said we must submit to our man, he had to put some type of controlling mechanism over us. Or else we would just be firebombs, just cannons, just influencing everything and anything without any proper order. So submission as women, do not look at it as a bad thing. God is giving us these beautiful creatures called men to help manage us so we don't kill ourselves and kill everybody else around us. So just like how they need us, we need them. Wisdom is so important as women. You know, we seek nothing else. We must seek understanding so that as we apply whatever it is that we know to our lives and we speak words of wisdom, a woman who seeks to develop all components is a wise woman. Wisdom is the application of knowledge and information. That means before anything, we must be always seeking knowledge and information and understanding about ourselves. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is supreme, therefore get wisdom. If it costs you all you have, however, get understanding. And let me tell you why that's important, because you're only going to apply what you understand. And you're only going to understand what you know. So make sure that the information that you're getting, you have a correct understanding of what it is. So if it costs you anything, because what you apply to your life is going to be what you understand. Make sure you're not applying the wrong understanding. So I'm always asking questions, and I'm always re-asking, and I'm always seeking God for understanding, so that when I apply what is said to me, when I apply what I know, what I understand, not only am I applying good knowledge, but I'm applying right understanding. That's what makes you a P31 woman. Wisdom will protect you from the dangers of knowledge. Understanding is important because you will only apply to you the knowledge you have based on the understanding that you have of that knowledge. And that's exactly what I said. So don't just know, but apply what you know. But I know as religious people, and I know just as mere humans, we do not apply a lot of what we know. I would be surprised how much of you know a lot in here and you aren't applying it to your lives. And that can be for various reasons. It can be just out of fear. It can be out of, as soon as you start applying, then you're going to be held accountable. So that means a lot of you are lazy. And you're lazy because you don't want the accountability and the responsibility that's going to come with that application. But you're killing yourself. You're shortchanging yourself, which means you're shortchanging me of whatever it is that you have to give to the world. When you do not apply what you know, because I know a lot of you know more, you're killing yourself. You're shortchanging yourself, which means that you are shortchanging others of what you have to give to the world. So let's get rid of garbage, and let's get rid of baggage, because we all got it. If you're over 20, you got baggage. So let's start to be, as women, let's start to be honest with ourselves. And not only ourselves, but let's start to be honest with others. Let's forgive ourselves. Remember I said God first, and then you second. So be honest with yourself, and then you can be honest with me. Forgive yourselves of some of the things you've been through in life. Forgive yourselves from your past. Forgive yourselves of the wrong things you may have done. And then you can forgive those around you who have wronged you. Know and confront your insecurities. Know and confront your weaknesses. Know them. Admit them to yourselves. And then deal with them. Nothing that God made is bad or ugly. So don't ever let anyone tell you you are ugly. In Genesis, the Bible says, and everything When he made it, he said, this is. God will not choose your mate for you. This is for my single people. And this was just God being very wise and smart. Because he knew if he chose your mate, and you and your mate don't end up staying together, or your mate does this, that, and the next, he knew you would blame him. So he gives you options, and then he allows you to choose. But he is going to help you based on his instructions, and then you choose accordingly. Remember, you are not a better half. You are a better whole and unique person. So when you have understood and you are ready to apply all that to your life, then you can say, okay, I'm on my way to becoming a P31 woman. You can now wear the crown of a queen. Because just putting on this crown isn't going to make you a queen automatically. That's the mistake a lot of us make. We wear this crown and we fake it. We can do that very well. A woman is ready and prepared for whatever and whomever God has for her. When she is ready to put the work in becoming a P31 woman. A P31 woman is a woman that knows who she is and knows her purpose. She's a woman of character. She's a woman of love, loyalty, and trust. And she is a woman that fears no one but. She was my P31 woman. She was my example. And she continues to be my example. And she was the example to so many other women. I just want to recap. And you can repeat after me. God first. You second. Character is so important. Beauty is automatic. Identity, significant. Faith, a kingdom must. As a kingdom woman, you must have faith. You know, my dad always says, faith is the currency of the kingdom of God. That's a topic for another day. Submission. Women, submit. Submit not only to yourselves, not only to your husbands, but to God. Let words out of your mouth be filled with wisdom. Know that your influence as a woman, and only use that influence to bring about positive growth and positive change. Because we can use our influence for bad and not know it, or we can intentionally do it. But any influence that's used for bad is what we call manipulation. But let's start to use our influence for positive change and growth. How many of us are going to do that? How many of us know who we are and believe that we are exactly what our Maker said we are? How many of us are willing to use our power, to know our purpose, discover who we are, and say yes to God, say no to man, and put God first?
Thank you once again for listening to this message, as we hope that it has been a blessing to you. Our goal is to show you new paths and opportunities so that you can discover your purpose. It is your love, support, and partnership that makes Monroe Global possible. Please visit us online at www.monroeglobal.com for more product, partnership, or to join us at one of our live events around the world.